And I was really proud of it. And I was, I didn't have a car at the time. I biked to my appointments. I had like a music venue that I remember biking and like putting it on the bike on the bus and getting there and selling that website for $250 a month for 12 months. I was so freaking excited. 10 months, $2,500. And I was so excited. So excited. And creating like finding scrappy ways to market myself, walking around the neighborhoods, putting like going to a falafel shop and giving them half a sheet of paper with my, I make websites on it, and got a couple, like early mentor, got an early internship while I was in college doing marketing. I worked at a restaurant before that. I was a busboy,
Yeah. What year
and
was this, by the way, just so we
this
have some
is
context?
2000, I think 12. 2012. Yeah, I was busboy at a restaurant in Minneapolis. And I was like, we need to do more social media stuff, so I made crazy social media posts for them, and like it started to actually affect the amount of customers that they're having. And they let me work at corporate. So that was my next step. Then I worked at an internship. I was making websites now in school. I was going to college. It's like my 8th year and a 2-year degree, partying before that. And then I got sober. So all this is kind of like now I'm finally becoming an adult because I was kind of putting that off. And so I'm like 2020, or I'm like 24 years old. I'm like, just kind of like, maybe it's going to be a failure to launch situation. Anyway, so I graduated college and I got a job pretty quick in a bad economy. It was weird back then. If you recall, we didn't know if we were in or out of recession or whatever was going on. It was still kind of like the remnants of 2008, 2009. But I got one because I was so freaking aggressive. I just went and brought donuts to like every employer and was like, by the way, I'll work for nothing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. My um other people that were in my class were like getting like $70,000 jobs, some of them like the kind of the better ones. And I took a $42,000 job because I wanted an opportunity to learn. And they said I could also freelance on the side, which that very quickly paid off because I was able to make more than 70,000 with freelance on the side. And then 2 or 3 years later, I figured out how to freelance on the side, rank for Minneapolis web design. So like Mall of America came in as a lead on my website, and different things like were happening that were a little bit bigger. And so I was able to then create more revenue from my freelance than I was at my job. And I had been promoted to marketing director at a small agency, it's like 25 people. And so we just surpassed my previous employer just this year. But anyways,
Congratulations.
thank you. Then I just risked it. Went on my own. It was kind of more web design, not recurring revenue, so it was scarier. And so just websites, websites, websites. I was designing, developing. I was starting to like find some developers, like a couple people that freelance with me, kind of. And I had a coach that told me to niche about a year or two in. Lots of haters, lots of people that look down on you. When my company was Tim B Design, I just remember like a big agency guy being like, all right. We were talking about how we popped champagne when we
Yep.
launched websites for our clients. And we like to have them into the office when possible. And we pop champagne because that was good for social media. And it's good to have like a completion moment in web and in app design. I'm sure you realize like there's just not like you have to like artificially create celebration moments because the web is ever changing and it's never done. So we pop champagne. And I remember somebody being like, "Oh yeah, you guys pop champagne down in the basement at Tim B Design. All right," like making fun of me. It's like, dude, you work for somebody else, like,
Yeah.
and you work at a corporate. You guys will never do anything fun like that because you're corporate and fuck you. So, so I like to think like I have a little bit of like fire in my belly still to prove those people wrong. And I
Yeah.
and I think like over time we did niche into contractors first, and then we took the last 2 years and focused entirely on roofing. And now we're kind of expanding again, just a little bit into HVAC and plumbing. We're not saying we're going to work for every contractor. I realize there's excavators, there's demolition, there's commercial construction. They all have different marketing problems, but we realize that HVAC and plumbing have very similar marketing problems than roofers. So anyways, we're kind of expanding from that, but it was really good to take 2 years and just focus completely on roofing and to really understand the problems that our customers have. And so like now I think partly what's created some like, hey, Tim Brown and Hook Agency is a leading marketing agency in roofing is that I've created hundreds and hundreds of memes for roofers this last couple of years.
Meme marketing.
Yeah, meme marketing. I can talk about that. I feel like I'm probably one of the people that knows that pretty well. We did a lot of office tours, which I highly suggest for home service businesses and roofing companies to go tour the other people crushing it in your area or in a state over. And we videoed that. And then we also follow high performers. So we went out and followed Dan Walrick, the $18.5 million sales guy. And I've been kind of trying to follow people and get around people. It's an age old thing. I'm sure it's in like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or something like that. It's just like get around people that are like better than you and get around people that know more. And like I've been doing that and it's been huge just to like learn. And they're selling roofs, but I'm learning how to sell marketing better and how to be more persuasive to my team. I'm selling personal development wrapped up in a job. That's what I'm trying to sell to my team. And so I'm learning how to be a better leader. And I just had a kickoff with my team and I was kind of surprised how much I've learned over this past year. And I held a little workshop for my team. We had a couple paradigm shifts. You know, they shredded their previous identity physically and we wrote down what our aspirational identity was. And I asked them to put it somewhere around their house or their car or something, like we had a couple moments that like were kind of inspiring. And I feel like all of that to me is like getting around people that are better leaders than me and are building frankly bigger companies than mine. And I just like keep on like trying to absorb. I'm just a student and I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert. I'm just a student of all this. It's fun.
I love that attitude. That attitude of like staying a student. It's so easy to get away from that. Allow yourself to kind of like start taking yourself too seriously. We were just talking about that earlier. It's
Hey.
like
Oh yeah, the roofing industry is chock full, and for fun, let's take a shot. It's chock full of people that feel like they're experts and act like they're experts, and I think it holds them back. I would ask them to like, hey, how about being a student this year? Because like it does limit your options if you have to be an expert everywhere you go.
Yep.
Me and my wife are trying to get to more events for us. Like I think we're going to go to the Traction EOS conference.
Yeah.
Like I need to go to an event. I stay a student at these roofing events. I need to also stay a student for my business. And that's something like, as you get wrapped up in business development, if everything's constantly for business development, I think I need to work on getting up to occasional like personal development and business development, like how to build my business events.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. That's inspiring. That inspires me as well. I love that.